Hello, and welcome to season 1 of Big Debb Energy, the podcast where we talk about anything but politics. You may be here because you love me and support me, and guess what? I fucking love you back. Or you may be here because you cannot wait to have a reason to go make fun of me with your friends. But you know what? It doesn't matter why you're here. What matters is why I'm here, and that's to tell you some of the craziest stories that you've ever heard in your fucking life. Now, you may have heard a story or two or 10 about me. I've heard them too. They're fucking hilarious. Cheers to that. But there's nothing like hearing a story from the main character, the narrator, the protagonist, or is it the antagonist? I don't remember. That was like second or third grade. But you get where I'm going with this. I think as you get older and you grow, you start to reflect back on your childhood, things that happened years ago, and you try to make sense of why you did certain things, why you acted the way you did, or surrounded yourself with certain people. Or am I the only one that does this? I don't know, but I think it's healthy. And I think looking back on the past is a good way to put the puzzle pieces together. And while I've been putting this podcast together, I'm finding pieces of the puzzle that I didn't know existed. So this is going to be a crazy journey. Let's get started. I had a unique childhood, to say the least. So I grew up living on top of a store with my mom and my grandmom. I had no siblings. I was an only child, and I never met my dad. My dad was never around. I was very loved as a kid. I look back and I think I was very loved. At the time, though, I didn't realize how grateful I should be. I didn't realize how lucky I was. And I think that's a lot of kids. When you're younger, you don't understand a lot of things, and adults don't really want to explain things to you because they think you're too young to understand. And it's unfortunate for me because there's a lot that I never got answers to because everybody died when I was definitely so young. Different. I didn't have many kids in the neighborhood. There weren't many kids to play with. There was Montrose Street, which was next to my block, and there was like a few boys that lived up that street that I would play with sometimes, but other than that, there really wasn't anybody. So it was kind of lonely with no siblings. There was a girl, but her dad like sent her away to boarding school because she like tried to microwave her dog. Yeah, like I'll never forget. One day her dad like came out and like drug her down the street. It was fucking crazy. Of a store was fun in most cases. You know, we had unlimited chips, unlimited cookies and snacks and stuff. But when I went to school, it wasn't that fun because I had kids who would make fun of me for living on top of a store, but it was like a double combination because I didn't just get bullied for that. I also got bullied for not having a dad. And it didn't really dawn on me till like kindergarten that I didn't have a dad. I guess I was just so used to having my mom and my grandmom around me and I was happy. But I remember someone at school asking me, "Where's your dad?" And I was like, I never thought about it. And am I fucking nuts for that? I mean, maybe. I think I was so content with the love of my mom and my grandmom. I never thought about having a dad until that point. And I truly believe kindergarten was where I started getting fucked up in the head. Kids started pointing out things to me that I didn't really realize. And because of that, I took a lot of my anger out on my mom and my grandmom at home. I'll never forget when I first came home and asked my mom, "Hey, do I have a dad?" She was probably like, "What the fuck? Oh, the day has come." And she lied. At first, she told me that I didn't have one and that I was a miracle. I believed it. To my mom when she said I was a miracle. The kids really got a big laugh at that. And that's when I learned what sex was. Yeah, eventually I'm like, hey, mom, you're a fucking liar. What's going on? And that's when she proceeded to tell me that my dad died. And when I asked her what year he died, she said 1980 something. But I did the math and I'm like, wait, that doesn't add up. The math is not mathing. And that's finally when my mom was like, you're too young. And I said, okay. And unfortunately, my mom did die when I was 13. So I never really got a chance to find out who he is. So that's going to be a mystery that we're going to try to solve together throughout this podcast. Woo! My grandmom did end up dying. She had lung cancer, and it was really hard to watch. She fought for like 2 years, and it did spread to her brain. We had a hospital bed in our living room. It was just like really painful to watch her like trying to get out of bed to go to the bathroom, and just the struggles. Looking back, I think I tried to forget about a lot of that. But my grandmom really was a big support system for my mom. And I don't think my mom was ready to let my grandmom go, which is why my mom only died like 2 years, not even later. My grandmom died in June or July of 2005. My mom died May 16th of 2007. That's not even 2 years later. So I was 13, and at this point in my life, I had been taking off of school a lot. Like I said, I was spoiled. Me and my mom were so close. She was the type of mom that was like, oh, you were so comfortable when you were sleeping. I didn't want to wake you up. And, so I took a lot of days off of school. And on May 16th, I woke up. I didn't want to go to school. Something was telling me to stay home. And my mom was like, no, you need to go to school. Like, you're missing too many days. And we got in a fight. I didn't want to go. Something was telling me not to go. And usually my mom would walk me halfway, and she tried to, and I was like, get the fuck away from me. I hate you. One of the biggest regrets of my life. I did not realize that was going to be the last time I ever spoke to her. So, because I took a lot of days off of school, I had detention. And when I was in detention, I got called into the principal's office, and everybody was like, ooh, and they thought I was in trouble. And my principal was like, your uncle wants you to call him. And right then I knew something wasn't right, because what the fuck? So that's when I called my godfather, and he was like, Deb, your house is on fire. They can't find your mom. And at that point, like, I wanted to be hopeful, but I already knew she was dead. I already knew. I got picked up by my aunt and my godfather. And when we pulled up, I was just hoping that my mom would be there, and she was not. And that was just confirming that I was right. So we pull up. 9th Street is just fucking blocked off. You just see smoke everywhere. Smoke was filling the air, and people are everywhere. It was terrible. And everyone's running up to me, and all I could think about is how my mom is in this house. And then the firefighters come and tell me that she's not in there. And they're like, oh, she must be out. She doesn't go anywhere. My mom didn't go anywhere. She's in the house. She's in the fucking house. So eventually they did confirm that my mom was found. I know. I knew she was in there. So it was really fucking devastating, because it was almost like I already knew. I was just waiting for the confirmation this whole time. And I don't think it really hit me. I don't think it hit me till years later that she was gone. It never hits you right away. Anyone that has lost a parent, no matter if it's, you know, from a tragedy like this or an illness, it you just it doesn't hit you right away. My mom had a lot of struggles as well as my grandma, but I don't want to focus on that right now. I actually want to highlight something amazing that happened to me recently.